This is the FlipNerd.com Expert Real Estate Investing Show, the show for real estate investors, whether you're a veteran or brand new. I'm your host, Mike Hambright, and each week I bring you a new expert guest that will share their knowledge and lessons with you. If you're excited about real estate investing, believe in personal responsibility, and taking control of your life and financial destiny, you're in the right place. This is episode number 413. My guests today are Luciano and Moon Kim. They operate out of Houston, Texas. Today we talk about the differences of truly turning your real estate investing business into an actual business. See, most real estate investors end up trapped essentially in the self-employed stage of their business, where they're responsible for doing every task that needs to be done. Now, none of us started in real estate investing to be a slave to our own business, where our business suffers if we take vacation, if we spend more time with family, or God forbid, if we get sick. In fact, I'd argue that every single real estate investor wants the exact opposite. That said, it doesn't end up that way for most. If you're just getting started or already doing deals, but stuck in the self-employed stage of your business, you're really going to get a lot out of today's show. Luciano has been a real estate investor for 6 years, but was simply self-employed. He was doing everything himself, and there's some things that he wasn't even good at or didn't like to do, but he simply had to. After joining Investor Fuel, my mastermind, and getting around some others in the group that have incredible talents that were able to help him out, he made the shift to truly become a business owner. The results? Well, in the first quarter of this year, he bought as many houses as he's purchased in any full year in the past, aside from at least quadrupling his business. He now has a team to do all of the things that he's not good at, or many of the things that he's not good at, or doesn't even like to do. He's truly a business owner now and has had some great success. Let's go ahead and jump into today's show. Please help me welcome Luciano and Moon Kim. Hey guys, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, Mike?
Hey, I'm excited to talk about, I know we're a little stealing our thunder a little bit here, talking about taking your business from really kind of being an employee and just flailing, trying to make real estate investing work, or maybe self-employed at best, into a business. It's something that I preach it, I practice it, this is what we talk about all the time, so it's going to be a good show because it's very much in line with kind of how I believe and how I teach other people, and when we coach and mentor people, what we talk about. Of course, you guys are members of Investor Fuel as well, and we talk a lot about that, like how to take your business to a whole nother level, right? But before we kind of dive into those topics, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name is Luciano. I'm from Brazil. Background, I'm an engineer. I was in corporate for 13 years. I didn't hate every day, but it was definitely not my path. And then I started doing real estate. Did that for about 6 years. When I say like that, because I did that like almost like an engineer, a self-employed. So if I would be sick for a week, I would not have my business running. And now the past 7 months, we truly started a real estate business.
So 6 years, so you were trying to get going, but just doing everything yourself pretty much.
Everything in your head, in your computer, yeah.
A lot of real estate investors that way, and I think we're going to resonate with a lot of people hearing this today because a lot of real estate investors get stuck there. That's not maybe what they intend to do, but they get stuck there, so good. Okay, how about you, Moon? Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Moon Kim. I grew up in the Baytown area, part of Houston. I've been in real estate for about 10 years. Part of a local investment group, an active agent. Then I started doing, wholesaling, flipping, and like Luciano was saying, doing more deals. And then as of recent, partnered up with Luciano, and now we actually have a business that we can call a business I'm proud of. So.
Yeah, awesome. So let's talk a little bit about maybe your journey, Luciano, or both of you guys can share on this, like how you transitioned from, you said you were working for somebody else, then you were trying to get started in real estate investing, but just ended up really doing everything yourself. And then at some point, something happened where you said, this isn't my vision, like this isn't what I'm trying to accomplish. So maybe just talk about your transformation and kind of how that happened, and specifically like how you got to a point to where you realized that my vision is bigger than this.
I've always thought about being a business owner, entrepreneur, and to the point, back in 2008, I used to work for Schlumberger, and I was like, I would do a local MBA because I could not get out of Houston at that time. So I went to Rice University to get an MBA to fill up some of my gaps. But those gaps, it's an amazing program, especially if you want to become a better and better employee, you advance in your career. The out here is completely different. But I went there to become a business owner, not to advance on my career as an employee. Got out of there, I was itching to do my thing, and it was beautiful because I was brave enough to go to the other side and become, I thought, a business owner. Mm-hmm. So, and as a start as a realtor, just because I was getting tired of not having the response that I would like with realtors. And back in 2000, so it was so easy to buy houses in 2011. I don't know if you remember.
I remember it.
Too easy. I was too picky and bought houses. And then 2012, everything changed completely. So at a point in 2012, we had more investors than deals in Houston. So I decided, to implement the marketing campaign. Actually, I bought a marketing campaign and been running that business for 6 years. Like I was saying, get busier, no life. Get a little. I had to close the business more or less November, December for me to have vacation.
Yeah, I know. Even in my experience, when I first started, I wanted it so bad to be successful in real estate that I just did whatever I had to do. Right, you just work 60, 80 hours, whatever it takes. Right, go drive across town to do like a $10 an hour job, or check on something that, if I only had an errand runner, they could just do this. But you just got to do it, right? You got to do what you got to do. And then at some point, at least for me, I think you were probably like this too, your business, like financially, you're okay and you're doing fine, but you're just like, I don't want to work this hard for the rest of my life. Like, why am I doing all these things, right?
Start getting, not being enjoyable anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So back to complement here the journey of living as an engineer, employed. Like I said, I didn't hate my life at that point. I just that was not for me. Right. And then become self-employed. And then last year the business started going really bad. Around August, and decided to make a big change on the business. Start getting really deep in learning. And coincidentally, I started watching all your podcasts at that time, so then is how I got interested in joining Investor Fuel. So, but I saw that I was broken. I hit the ceiling. Didn't have enough capacity. Didn't have enough capital. I didn't have an org chart. I didn't have a plan.
Right.
So yeah, it was a big change and for better. Yep.
Yeah. If you're an active real estate investor already doing deals and looking to double or triple your business, you should consider joining the Investor Fuel Real Estate Investor Mastermind. We're a small group of investors that share our best practices, tips, and tricks with one another in an effort to all win. We limit our membership to only 1 to 2 members per market, so everyone shares their knowledge, tips, and tricks openly and honestly. Our members include some buying 1 to 2 houses a month, up to some of the most respected investors and leaders in the real estate investing industry, some of which have personally done over 1,000 deals. If you'd like to be considered for our invitation-only world-class mastermind, please visit investorfuel.com to request your personal invitation. Our next meeting is coming up quickly. Go to investorfuel.com now to learn more.
I started watching all your podcasts at that time, so then is how I got interested in joining Investor Fuel. So, but I saw that I was broken. I hit the ceiling. Didn't have enough capacity. Didn't have enough capital. I didn't have an org chart. I didn't have a plan.
Right.
So yeah, it was a big change and for better. Yep.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, Moon, maybe you could share, I think you could, it probably resonates with you too. There's a lot of people that just get stuck doing this themselves, and at some point it could be either your business isn't doing well, or you got a health issue, or your wife has a baby, or something happens in your life that just forces you to say, I can't do things the way I've been doing them in the past anymore. I need to do it differently and truly treat it like a business, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I come from a background. My family are immigrants, and they have several businesses. But after listening to the E Myth, the book, it just kind of shows like my father was always doing every role in the job. But after the E Myth, and then speaking with Luciano, just pulling yourself instead of working in the business, working on the business, and you can't do everything by yourself. So allowing systems to be in place and being more organized, and doing that thing allowed you to do different things and focus on more areas that are important and that you're good at. So
yeah, and then maybe you guys could talk a little bit about because you guys were working separately and then you kind of united here. So talk about sometimes people that get into business for themselves, they want to be in business for themselves. Like they left working with other people or having to answer to people or whatever to do their own thing. But then you realize I can't do it all. I may not be good at a bunch of things. Sometimes it's better to just truly have a partnership or a relationship like that. Now, I've been partners with my wife for 10 years in business. There's things that I want her to do that she doesn't want to do, and there's things that she wants me to do that I don't want to do, but we just have to, right? Mm-hmm. But we've just kind of found that we have very different skill sets that complement each other, and just maybe talk about the relationship of kind of a partnership model.
You touch on a great point about complementary skills.
Yeah.
The partner, we've been friends for, I would say, for about 6 years. Yeah. I met him in Lifestyles. He funded probably about 6 of my deals before. So let's say he was one of the private lenders.
Okay.
And I want badly to be out of this acquisition side of it. I really want it. I would not mind being in this position for a little while, but I want to be out of acquisition and disposition. And I would like to team up with somebody with almost the same level of skills. I'm not putting myself out there, but I'm very detail oriented. So I would like somebody to, your core values, to align with your core values. Right. And immediately from the day one, he fired me from acquisition and disposition. Immediately.
Yep.
And he doesn't want to do at all the marketing side of it. Not because he's not good, it's because he doesn't want to be dealing with it.
Right.
The lead generation, and I'm in on that. I don't mind. I like it actually.
Yeah.
So, the complementary skills is adding other people that we're a team of 5 at this point with a VA office manager that it's been awesome. One thing that Jamie she said in the meeting that I caught that really, I love what she said. If you wanna hire somebody, start doing that 2 months before you need it.
Right.
I'm telling you, we hired this lady about about 5 weeks ago. Yeah. Extensive training, and it's paying off already. We will not be able to go through a week that we had this week without her help.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, a bunch of us. Well, if you have employees, you've probably fallen into this trap, especially early on. If not, maybe for many years because you don't learn from it. Is sometimes we hire from a position of weakness, right? We need somebody like right now. So you end up hiring somebody that might not be the right fit just because you want to fill that seat so badly. So that's a good tip. If you can anticipate what you're going to need and start looking for that person in advance, then you have the time to say no to people that aren't a perfect fit and make sure you find that right person, right?
Yeah, and one thing is so hard. You see that, you're used to being in every seat, and you're not the perfect person to be in those seats. But to let it go is so tough.
Right.
But luckily, I can let it go with no concerns. It was a good compliment there.
Yeah. For you, Luciano, why don't you share the importance of vision? So I know that you've recently gone through the EOS implementation, and for those that are listening right now, we've talked about EOS a few times from the book Traction, which is the entrepreneur's operating system, and it's not a system like a CRM, or it's basically just a system of your business, like a series of meetings and sequences, and how you grade yourself and track your performance, and it's really just an overall business operations kind of system, developing your culture and things like that. So I know that you recently went through EOS implementation with the same person that I did, Gary Harper, a good friend of ours, awesome guy. Gary's been on the show. I'll add a link for Gary's show as well in the show notes here. But just talk about the importance of, because I know a big part of that up front is setting your vision, like what it is you're trying to accomplish. And for me, we have lots of businesses. My things have evolved dramatically with FlipNerd and all sorts of things over the years. And I won't say that I really had a vision. Like I was just trying to do big things or cool things, but not like a vision like that I could go execute upon other than just trying to keep taking it up a notch, whatever that meant. But talk about the importance of a vision as a real estate investor to know what that is so you know what it is you're trying to accomplish.
Like you said, we're going more like I want to do this, I want to get bigger and bigger, but the purpose is not really there. I mean, you're so much that I don't know how you did, but normally with traction, you do a 10-year plan.
Right.
We did 7. We went sooner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I did 5. I was like, 10's too far.
So we didn't have that vision. I mean, if you want to try to build an organization, you don't know where you're going. Like I was telling you, you don't know your plan, how you know your path. And I had an idea what I would like, but not. And then the team together, we came up with a vision that I think it is in line with everybody's goals. As well, one step, aligned with the vision came the core values.
Yeah.
That we didn't, I mean, everything in your head, but we didn't have that core value. When you put that in paper and you discuss that seriously with your whole organization, you see people that you would never work with, that you worked before, and it really helps you to align or build your organization. Without the core values, it's tough for you to really understand what you're expecting from who you're getting, in your team.
Yeah, one of the things that was interesting for me when we went through the process is determining. It's not that I had no vision. I mean, I kind of knew that the general direction where I was going, and it's not that I didn't have values. I mean, we've got values. But when we defined our core values, and when I debated it with my team, we put it on a whiteboard, and we're like, let's list out like what our core values are, and let's talk about it. And some of them were like, well, that's really 2 ways to say the same thing, and we kind of got it down to just like 4 or 5 of our real core values. And I think, honestly, for me, the process of going through that with my team, truthfully, up until that point, I would say I've had people that work on my team for years, right? But sitting down and actually talking about the vision, you could just see light bulbs going off in their mind, and they were part of contributing to mapping that as well. I said, because I'm at a point now where I don't have to work that hard anymore. So some of what I'm doing is just the challenge of business. Like I'm trying to, it's like a puzzle, right? It's a game. I'm trying to play the game the best I can. And so there were literally times where we had massive opportunities that I said to my team, if you guys don't want to work this hard, that's okay. We don't have to do this. But if you want to, we can. And they were kind of like, game on, let's do it, But it really kind of took debating, should we do this as a company? Because clearly I need them to get behind it. I don't want to do everything myself. I can't. But I think it was just such a great process to go through.
And the exercise creates accountability.
Right.
I like in December, unfortunately, Moon and Selena, they were not part of the team yet. And I think like for the next quarter review that we're going to have in June, actually the June 12th, I may bring a little, I'll probably work it out the core values with them just to make sure we are, I like, because we did just Gary, Souza, and I, and Lauren. Because we're in infant phases of our business at that point.
Right. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about the steps of how to get, maybe you could give some, maybe you guys can give a little guidance there on, back to the vision part of, of course, we could recommend go get the book Traction. I'll add a link in the notes here for getting to Traction to read. It's a great. So some people on my team, like, they didn't like reading it. It was kind of felt textbooky, right? It's just like it's not a exciting read. It was exciting to me as a business owner because I could see the framework, right? I'm excited for what it'll do for me as a tool. But for those of you that haven't read it, you should check it out. But maybe just talk a little bit about how you get started in determining your vision. It's not just some pie in the sky goal. It's like, I want to get here, and here's why. But maybe give some guidance to people on how they can start defining what their vision is.
I see the real estate, I mean, the same way the engineering school for me, that is our vehicle for me to get where I want to. You know, I come from humble means from Brazil. I was lucky because I moved from the largest city of Brazil, which has like 22 million people, São Paulo, to a very small town, which was like 10 miles from one of the best engineering schools of Brazil. So that was my vehicle to move out of that little place. And then the real estate is a vehicle to, I want, the goal that we have is to give back. And the way that we're going to give back with our vision will be through education. We want to empower, you know, young kids, especially under 8 years old, with education. So that's the goal. Get to the point we're free up. We're start already doing something here locally with the Houston which HISD, but the goal is really, I mean, our vision is to use this real estate to give back.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, it's like, I want more money. That's not really that's the cool thing that doesn't drive him and I. I mean, it's not really that you know, the material, the bigger house, the bigger car. I mean, I admire, and I'm okay. People do what make them feel happy, but that's not what really we're after here.
It's funny. I just had this conversation last night. I was doing an event and talking about, at some point when people are starting in real estate investing, they want the money because they need the security of knowing that I can work for myself. I don't have to work for somebody else. But once you get past that point, it's a matter, and everybody's different. Everybody has different goals, but it starts to turn to something different. It's more like impact. Right? It's like, what can I do with this now? I don't have to worry about eating anymore, paying the bills, or, you know, I'm going to be fine there. I don't need a bigger house or fancier cars. I'm comfortable with what I've got, you know. And not that there's anything wrong if you have the biggest house or the fanciest car, but even beyond that, at some point, you know, you just, you don't care about things anymore. You care about experiences and impact, right? So, Moon, why don't you share your thoughts on that?
On the vision of the business, you're saying?
Yeah, just like the importance of determining your vision, because at some point it's not about the money, like you guys said. It's about what the money can enable you to do or allow you to have an impact. Maybe share your thoughts.
Yeah, like Luciano said, just helping out people, helping out the less fortunate, the community, just sharing our experience or even our knowledge that we gain to help other people, you know, become better and do better. Because, I mean, I come from, you know, when my family came from Korea, I remember being very, very poor. So, I mean, just for the less fortunate, if we can do something for the people, then, you know, that's what our goal is, to give back.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Well, Luciano, let's talk a little bit about, like, steps to get to a business owner. So when we started off here, we were talking about how you were an employee, you worked for somebody else. This is like, I got to believe that 90% of real estate investors end up stuck on this path. They're working for somebody else, they're an employee, then they want to own a business, but the business ends up owning them. They're self-employed, they do everything. They never grow big enough to be able to justify the expense of adding somebody to their team. Like, well, I can't hire an administrative assistant. That's $50,000 a year. I'll just do the work. But the problem is your time is all soaked up doing administrative work, and then you can't grow, right? So you get trapped kind of where you are and never really being a business owner. And what we just talked about here is you've kind of cracked through that. I mean, I know that you're let's talk about, first, I want you to share the steps of how people can get there, but maybe start off by saying the impact that you having that realization that I'm self-employed, I'm not a business owner, just over the past 6 months, the things you've done and how it's impacted your business from where you are today and the trajectory you're on to where you were just even six or 8 months ago.
Mike, I think I started wrong. When I say I started wrong, when I decided to go from my career as an engineer in corporate, you know, going up the ladder, whatever it is, to become a business owner, that was my mentality. You know, I didn't have the clarity. I think you have to have that clarity. Are you going to start and be small, or you're going to start small with a go to bit big. Because it is okay if you're going to be also small, you run that business, but if you go is to scale up, you can't do that as a self-employed.
Right.
So I think you have to have very, very well defined what do you want to achieve, and within your business, you have to have very well defined what entails your business. Because, like you're saying, within 6 years that I was like a self-employed, you start just building more knowledge, your own little tools. So you build this thing that you can run your business, but in reality, there is no structure. Right. There is no systems. There is no organization. One thing that was very important to be, you need to understand what you like. I mean, you did that, elevate and delegate. You need to see things that you like, things that you're good at, or things that you want to be doing, and put all those boxes together. As we evolve, you need to see why you need to delegate to other people.
Right.
I didn't know how to delegate. It's more like, how do you call that? Let it go of the vine.
Yeah.
You gotta let it go to let it grow, right? So,
yeah.
I mean,
I think you have to start from day one with that mentality. I don't think I did. And the thing, I want to grow big. No, I want to grow to a point. We do have an organization, which, like Mo mentioned in the beginning, that we can step and be on the business. But that initial is key. I didn't define that in the beginning. In the beginning, it's just, I thought I would be running that self-employed game forever. It didn't work.
Yeah, sometimes I think we settle for that because we're like, well, I'm making a lot more money than I used to, right? But then you start to look at, well, but can I know you like to travel, Luciano. My family likes to travel. We just booked a month-long trip through the Rockies this summer, and we can do stuff like that. I'm going to be in the mountains for a month with a cell phone and a laptop if we have reception. I don't know. And I know that nothing will stop in my business, Truthfully, my business tends to do better when I'm not here because I'm not here causing friction for people to like I'm an idea guy. So I'm like, hey, I got a new idea, guys. It's a distraction, right? So that should tell you something about your business. But maybe talk a little bit about what you coming to this realization, taking the steps that you've done. Obviously, you joined the Investor Fuel Mastermind, started to meet some other people that made a significant impact on your business, like Gary Harper, going through the EOS process and really kind of mapping out your business like a business and starting to surround yourself with a team that can help you take it to another level. What kind of give us from an engineer part of you, tell us what that means for your business now going forward versus how it's been over the past 6 years.
I changed completely the game. Completely. I was in a box. Let's put it this way. This network, this platform, offers you something that it will take me too long to accomplish by myself here in Houston or studying, going to events. I mean, the knowledge sharing of a mastermind, it's too important.
Yeah. Too
important. And your group, it's an amazing group. I mean, I got there, for instance, you remember that I got there, I was like, I have nothing. I was doing 30 deals a year. Oh, very profitable actually, but no business. So from the day I left, the first time I was booked with Gary that December, and when I came back, one thing that happened to us, I mean, I'm going off track here, but as a business owner, entrepreneur, what is our accountability to who? So it seems like within this team, we hold each other accountable. It's within the EOS as well. You hold yourself accountable. You have a level 10 meeting every week.
That's right.
So you don't want to be a leader. Like I joke with Lauren all the time. I'm going to put you on the issues list. But definitely. It's the accountability part and seeing people. There's the thing: seeing people succeeding and humble. It's empowering as well.
Sure, sure. So to clarify, but did you say you're in the number of houses doesn't tell the whole story for any real estate investor, right? But your I guess your kind of best year in the last several years prior being self-employed and doing this all yourself. Tell us what that looks like versus going forward.
Not specifically numbers, but I think was I actually texted Stinson about it. I think it was March 11. We did the same number of houses for 8. I mean, that I used to do yearly. So
the first
I'm sorry, April 11. So
okay.
3 months and 11 days, we've purchased the same amount of houses that I used to do average yearly.
So the first quarter, basically, you did your normal annual goals. That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
And I know just from talking to you, by the way, that your life is better too, right? Like you don't have this pressure on you that you have to go do everything. There's people that you've surrounded yourself with, systems and processes that allow you to live a better lifestyle than what it would have taken to do that in the past, right?
Yeah, and it allows you as well to keep growing, to build new systems, and to keep developing. Yeah. And as we build a new system, we find who will be the right person to be in that seat. I mean, that it's like you start that process, and that process get on you in a positive way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the truth is you have to scale to turn this into a business, right? I mean, that's why a lot of real estate investors get stuck is I'm not bashing somebody that's doing even just a deal a month, but let's just kind of make some assumptions here. Obviously, this is different in Boston and California or whatever, but let's say that you're doing a deal a month and you net even $15,000 or $20,000, right? And let's just say a quarter of that goes to your marketing, and you have an office, and next thing you know, you're netting $8,000 or $10,000. Like, okay, that might be a decent salary for if you had a job, right? But as a business owner, you're the chief bottle washer too. Like, stuff happens, right? In order to scale, you can't say, okay, well, I'm netting, let's just say $10,000 a month. Let me go ahead and add $5,000 of overhead for an admin. Like, you just can't justify it, right? You're never going to get beyond that. But if you say, hey, in order for me to get to 2 to 3 deals a month, I need an admin, and then I need to bring in a salesperson, an acquisitions manager. And in order for me to, now I've got an acquisitions manager. He's doing really well. But if he decides to leave, then I'm in trouble, right? So maybe you need to do 4 to 5 deals a month and have 2 acquisitions managers, so you have an insurance policy there, right? Or and truthfully, whenever you have 2 sales guys, they usually both perform better because they're competing with one another, and stuff just starts to happen. Your life gets easier. You can afford to run it like a business. You can afford to have systems and processes and people that are doing the things that you don't like to do or that you're not good at, because now you have enough revenue to justify that. Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah.
We one thing going back in 6 years, I have a phone that I used to call money phone. That was not a money phone. That was a stress.
Yeah. It's bittersweet, right?
Huh?
It's bittersweet though. The money phone rings, which is a lead, and that you have to have that for your business. But you're like, damn it, I'm stuck doing this other thing right now. I don't have time for that. It's crazy.
But once we put the CRM, perfectly running, and we have, Moon and I aligned with the right task defined, the Selena, which is our office manager, with the task defined, it's getting so much easier.
Yeah. So
much easier for everybody. I have to praise Gary. I mean, it was a great decision to unify with them. I mean, it helped a lot.
Yeah. And Moon, you've been doing less talking here, but maybe share your thoughts about, you obviously have a lot of success in real estate yourself. What made sense for you to work with Luciano? I mean, you didn't have to do that. You hadn't done it before, but what made sense from that perspective?
I think we were almost in the same position. We were just coming out of a lead generating program, and then we were kind of in this situation where how can we grow together? And we've known each other for a long time, and we've always done deals intermittently, meaning like he would send some deals and I would help him move them. But as we decided, we sat down, we spoke more. We said, well, I think we could do something very well together. So like he says, we really complement each other very well.
Maybe talk to people a little bit on that note, because there's a lot of real estate investors that are out there right now, every market across the country, then they're lone wolves, right? And half of the job that they do, they hate doing, and they're not good at it, at least half of it, right? And so there's another person out there. So sometimes the answer is hire somebody, right? But for new real estate investors that we just discussed, they can't justify that cost maybe early on. But sometimes if you find a partner, well, they may you may not have to pay them, right? They have sweat equity. There's equity in the partnership, and you either both make money or you both don't make money or lose money even. Maybe talk about kind of because either one of you could have hired somebody to fill that need that you had, but you chose to actually work together more in a partnership format. So just talk about the benefits to real estate investors that are out there that no other investors or people like them that they could potentially work with instead of hire, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think because we have experience of what it costs to take a lead or cost of acquisitions. I mean, we're spending $5,000-$10,000 a month just to get some leads generated and closing costs, right, to get to that point. So if you hire an employee at times, they don't understand the money it takes in order to get a deal. So that disconnect, sometimes they're not working as hard, so sometimes you're overseeing them and yelling at them. And also, again, from my background, I'm used to dealing with a lot of employees because my family, at the car wash, we have like 30, 40 employees. So employees are sometimes not the best fit for what you need to do. I think a partner, when you're almost at seeing eye to eye, it's a better opportunity versus having to hire and fire and do that whole cycle over and over. And then sometimes you create, or an employee has a great skill sets, I mean, they may take that and use it against you. They steal deals and do all sorts of stuff that may question them. And then it becomes this tension. So I think partnerships are a better way to grow versus, having a bunch of employees that have turnaround and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Awesome, guys. Well, hey, thanks for sharing your story with us today, and thanks for sharing your experiences on how to go from a self-employed person to a business owner, because let's be honest, probably 95 out of 100 real estate investors are stuck in self-employment.
I speak with, I have a lot of friends from engineering school, and actually I have an event to go tomorrow. So, they all of them dream about being a business owner, but what they're trying to do really is to be a self-employed. I think, they're giving me some ideas.
Yeah.
They need a program.
Yeah, no, that's great. Let's be honest, though. I mean, you have an MBA. I have an MBA from a top program. Like, the formal education system is not teaching you to be a business owner. It's teaching you to work for somebody else, right?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's industrial era stuff that has not changed in 100 years. It's just once you realize that, it's like you start to think differently. Like, okay, even at grad school, they're not teaching me how to go do anything myself. They're teaching me how to improve my skills so that I'm more marketable, so that we can say that Coca-Cola or somebody else is a recruiter at our school, right?
Yeah. We get overly capable to really use minimum of our skills. That was one of my frustrations as well.
Yeah.
And as a business owner, I mean, you really get to explore everything.
Yeah.
The formal education, it's amazing. I mean, people say, "Oh, you just start a business." Don't forget about that formal education. It's huge.
Yeah.
It helps a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm not discounting it too much, but I would just say a lot of times people don't realize that when you're self-employed, you're taking out the trash, you're changing light bulbs, you're talking to customers, you're raising money, you're the marketing guy, the finance guy, the operations guy. You do it all, right? Yeah. Or if you don't do it well enough, then you're out of business.
The simple thing, for instance, of finance, if you're accounting, for instance, on MBA, we go, we learn, we apply and incorporate. We've done that as a manager, director, whatever it is. But most of when you get into your business, you need to know those lines line by line.
Right. Yeah.
You need to. It's different. You may have people that, I mean, it's the day by day is very different. Very, very different.
Yep. Awesome, guys. Well, hey, thanks again for sharing your knowledge with us. Hey, if folks wanted to reach out to you or wanted to learn more about you, is there anywhere? I know that you guys or I'm not sure if you have a website or a place for them to go check out.
We do have a website, but both of the website is more for lead generation. Right. I can provide my email address to you, and if somebody has any question or something that would like us to share with, I will definitely respond to it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and we sincerely appreciate the invitation. We look up to you guys, and it's a great program. We're very pleased to have joined Investor Fuel. It was really it changed the game.
Yeah, awesome.
Being surrounded by very talented and great people willing to share, it really changed the game.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we'll see you guys here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, everybody. Hey, everybody, this is episode number 413. Some great lessons in here if you are just getting started in real estate investing, kind of a different way to think about how to hit your goals. And if you're stuck in what we call the self-employment kind of box where you might have a business that's doing well, but you're doing everything and really not getting the freedoms that you got into this business for in the first place. Hopefully you got a lot out of today's show. So appreciate you guys. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, even on YouTube. Of course, you can watch and listen to all of our shows on flipnerd.com, where we literally, this is episode number 413 of this show, but we have a few other shows running as well. So we have over 1,500 video shows on real estate investing on flipnerd.com. Appreciate you guys. See you soon on another episode. Bye-bye. If you're an active real estate investor already doing deals and looking to double or triple your business, you should consider joining the Investor Fuel Real Estate Investor Mastermind. We're a small group of investors that share our best practices, tips, and tricks with one another in an effort to all win. Real estate investing can be a lonely business for successful real estate investors, but it doesn't have to be. Investor Fuel members meet 4 times a year, but we talk to each other 365 days a year, and we focus on improving the profitability of our businesses, improving the quality of our lives. That's why we do this, right? And making an impact on those around us so we can truly leave a legacy. We limit our membership to only 1 to 2 members per market, so everyone shares their knowledge, tips, and tricks openly and honestly. Our members include some buying 1 to 2 houses a month, up to some of the most respected investors and leaders in the real estate investing industry, some of which have personally done over 1,000 deals. If you'd like to be considered for our invitation-only world-class mastermind, please visit investorfuel.com to request your personal invitation. Our next meeting is coming up quickly. Go to investorfuel.com now to learn more. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the flipnerd.com Investing Show. If you're not yet an elite member of Flipnerd, you're missing out. We have tons of great training, including a new detailed master class published each month and live training webinars with experts twice a month. Plus, you'll get access to all of our archives, where we already have a growing library of master classes and other training videos. Elite members also get membership in our incredible online mastermind group, where many of the top real estate investors from across the country, including many of the hundreds of guests I've had on the show in the past, are already members. Whether you're brand new, looking to get started, or a veteran, you simply must join today. I promise you won't be disappointed. To learn more or join today, please visit flipnerd.com/lab. That's flipnerd.com/lab. See you on the next show.